Hey, what's up, La Familia? You crazy football-loving nutters. This is Ray Hudson, and you are luxuriating in listening to the Inter Miami podcast with a stupefyingly magnificent Jay and Alex. Two lads who are as electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub. Stay tuned, because you know what it's going to be. It's going to be magisterial with an amplifier.
To the left, Pellegrini, inside, Pizarro Golazo, here's the goal scorer, Morgan, and he's done it again! Lewis Morgan with a second of the match! Higuain will have the goal! He's framed the top 90! It's a sensational first goal for Gonzalo Higuain!
I gotta call my insurance guy and have him cancel that life insurance policy I took on you about a week and a half ago. It's not going to pay out, bud.
Your boy's back. Your boy's back in one piece. Pretty excited to be back thawing out here in South Florida. You actually owe me $5 from the last show, too. What the hell?
What did I bet you on? I don't remember.
You bet me that Inter Miami did not have 4 goals or more in a game.
Oh, $5 what we're settled on. Okay, I can do that. I think it originally was like $5,000. So yeah, I'm good with $5. I will pay that out in Shiba Inu. So you would get like 5 million of them, and it'll equate to $5. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Inter Miami podcast. I am Jay Kington alongside, back in the studio, back off the skis, back away from danger, Mr. Alex Papa George. Also have Than Harrington in tow. What's up, Than? How we doing?
Yo, what's going on, guys? How you guys doing? You know, unfortunately, unlike Alex, I am still like frozen tundra. I'm pretty cold. I'd like to be in the warmer weather, but hey, it's what it is. It's gonna be the same story day in, day out for me.
Yeah, you live in that world, but that was your choice. You chose that pain, you masochist.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is at this point. I'll hopefully be down there, but not anytime soon. So it's what it is.
Very good. Well, the much anticipated episode of all the transfers is about to roll out. But before we get started, just a couple things. We want to discuss some news around the club and the podcast. Want to start by shouting out all of our listeners, everyone in the Discord. We are continually grateful for just even taking the time out of your day to listen to a couple idiots ramble on and on. Alex is just smiling at me, looking disconnected from the world. We did hit a big milestone. We did cross over the 60 mark. We are now listened to in 61 countries, encroaching on a big goal as far as listeners go. We will update that once we cross that threshold. And of course, some big news. We are 19 days away from our home opener against the Chicago Fire on February 26th, starting at 6 p.m. We know that first game is going to be a blast, an absolute blast. If it's anything like the open practice, it was so good seeing everyone again, seeing the Vice City boys, seeing the Southern Legion, seeing the Siege just bouncing around, chatting up. So good to see everyone back in person, everyone getting back into the swing of things. So make sure that you get to the stadium a little bit early. But if for some reason you can't make the stadium, open up your Instagram because we got a little present coming.
Do we officially decide on Instagram? Is that it?
We will revisit this. Don't give them the good news. Don't be such a Debbie Downer.
How can I be a Debbie Downer right now? I'm still in one piece. And I don't know where my invite was to the Winter Olympics, but I'm right here in South Florida, baby.
God, you would die.
Anyway, Jay is alluding to the fact right now that Inter Miami Podcast or IMPC Productions is going to take a road trip down the road to Fort Lauderdale Stadium and have a live show right outside the stadium for our very first game. It's going to be exciting.
It's a long road trip, bud.
It's a long road trip. Well, with you driving, we don't know how long it's going to take.
That's a scary drive right there.
I maybe have taken a wrong turn before, even though I've been there 100 times.
I think what you're trying to say is you may have taken a wrong turn every time we've gone.
No, that's not fair. But yes, we already do have the equipment. Live show is going to be fun. And do you want to maybe talk about what we might be doing potentially afterwards of the game.
Wow, you want to roll into that right now? Well, there's some more big news for all the fans out there, but we cannot disclose this drop just yet. Just know that before the season, Inter Miami Podcast is going to have one hell of an announcement. We are close to signing our first sponsor to the show, and this is a fan favorite. So, that's all really you can give right now. More to be said next episode. So, stay tuned.
Is it Dolphin Carpet and Tile? That's a fan favorite. They sponsor everything.
It's not Cafe Bucello, which unfortunately they didn't return our calls.
Oh, bummer. Oh, well, we'll still rip it. We won't hold a grudge. It's fine. We do have some brief updates on the preseason escapades of the club. Everyone knows what happened against La U, the glorious 4-0 thrashing, but then kind of getting slapped back to reality from other actual MLS teams. We did have a closed-door scrimmage against Montreal Club de Foot, and we lost 2-1 with a goal from Gonzalo Higuain. Now, I know everyone's kind of like freaking out, but hey, look, we already knew what it was. Like, Rome has been burning for 2 years. Like, we're just here at the bar having a good time. It's going to take time, and it's going to take patience, so don't look too much into all this. I've probably got some players debuting for the first ever game. So, take a step back, but just appreciate the good things that we're seeing in the games.
And I just wanted to say I ended up watching the highlights of that, and it just solidifies my point that Drake Callender should not, and I mean not, be our goalkeeper. I'm fairly certain that, Alex on his skis could have saved both of those shots that went in. Like it was ugly. It was ugly. Mr. X Games himself over there could have saved probably both of those.
I mean, I got versatility right now. Like I got fast motion, fast feet, fast hips.
I can attest to that because I'm sure most of the time he was like laying in a horizontal position, just sliding down the mountain.
Horizontal.
No joke though. No joke. Your boy felt kind of comfortable out there on the Blues, and I even hit a few blacks, but there was this one time, man.
Whoa, buddy.
Get your mind out of there, sir.
Can't say things like this in 2022.
So your boy's flying down the mountain actually got clocked at 38 miles per hour, which I was pretty damn happy about, if I do say so myself. I was looking like motherfucking Shaun White out there on some skis.
That's a solid 20 miles per hour more than you should be going on.
You're
any
absolutely
device.
Right. You should have seen my face as I was flying down this mountain, or shall I say my smile from cheek to cheek just blowing in my face. But anyway, I get down to the end of the mountain, and keep in mind, I've been like standing up the whole time. Like I haven't fallen too much, maybe like a couple times or so, but I started to get a little cocky. I started to get a little arrogant, and I started to lose my confidence a little bit. And, I just made it down off this beautiful, beautiful backwoods run, and right before I get to kind of the ski lift, right, the gondola at the bottom of the mountain, I did a final turn, and when I did, I clipped the back of my skis together and probably flew 10 feet in midair, Superman style, to the point that my head hit first and my helmet flew off. It was buckled up. It flew off. At that point, everyone's rushing over to me like, dude, are you okay? Like, what are you okay, man? And I spit out the snow, and I said I was fine.
Mm-hmm. You Robbie Robinsoned yourself. No one was around you, and you clipped your own heels.
I think Robbie would have been proud of that moment.
So that's why you're in a good mood, because you're still concussed. We understand. We got it.
Listen, there was 3 seconds that were a little blacked out.
His pupils are mad dilated right now. He's gonna say the same story like 4 times over before we get through all of this. But
I actually have a video for you too that I haven't shown you yet that you're really gonna like.
All right. Once you share it, then take it, throw it on Twitter, throw it on Instagram or something. Expose this man for the scrub he is.
For the X Games star I am.
Yeah. I would love to see you go down like the mobiles and just like rip your knee out of socket.
Moguls. And I did. And
no, it's mobiles, isn't it?
Moguls.
Oh, let's ski.
Go ahead, use Google. I'll bet you $5.
No, I'm done betting you $5 for anything. I'm done with this. I'm done with this, bro. All right, let's get to the body. Let's get to the meat of this hamburger we're rolling with today. We're talking about transfer. We're talking about the biggest overhaul in MLS history. You could run that honestly with probably most leagues, and it still might be the most. I think I'm losing count, 18 departures or something like that, and an arsenal of acquisitions. And, we're still promised a couple more. They are willing to die on the hill that is. We're getting an exciting number 10. We'll see. That's looking closer and closer to the summer window. But Than, why don't you just take us from the top on our newest acquisitions?
All right, so we're going to start off with the one that everybody seems to be the most excited for. I know I am for sure. It's Leonardo Campana. He's our 21-year-old Ecuadorian American, and he's coming in from the best league in the world, the EPL. He played with Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he's going to be a center forward. He actually played a little bit of time in the Swiss league with Grasshopper Club Zurich. He played 15 games. He had 3 goals and 663 minutes of action. And he does have a little bit of national team experience with Ecuador. So he's going to bring some valuable experience, not only in the hardened league that is the EPL, but a little bit of national team experience, which should help guide some of these younger players. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, he is going to slay South Beach. Look, man, I got a fiance and a child. I'm comfortable with my sexuality. This dude is a great looking dude. He's like a better looking Alex Papa George.
Whoa.
And much more talented with his feet. I guarantee it. Big things that we were hoping to see from Leonardo. But the other big one that we got, which everyone seems to be very excited about, is Emerson Rivaldo. He is 21 years old. He is a Colombian. He transferred from Millonarios in the Liga de Mayor, which is the Colombian league, for $2.7 million. He's a right midfielder. He can also switch it up and play left mid and left wing, right wing, pretty versatile. Kind of seems like maybe a slightly more attack-minded Breck with all the versatility. As far as stats go with Millonarios, he had 53 games, 8 goals, 8 assists in 3,675 minutes of play. Alex, divide that by 90. How many games is that?
23.
I'll take it. Not going to fact check it. Anyway, move it.
All right, up next, Jean Mota, 28-year-old Brazilian. How are you feeling about them Brazilians, Jay?
Give me all of them. All the Canarinhos in the world, bring them here.
I think you talked this into reality, Jay. You really did. You've been talking about this for probably like 3 years, and I know we've been doing it for 2.
I got a bottle of the Florida water. I got some sage. I got a sweet tapestry that I lay out on the floor. Man, I am willing this. I'm willing this into the club.
Well, you had success.
All right, and that's your commercial from Witch Doctor Jay. All right, so Jean Mota, he transferred in from Santos. They haven't produced anyone big recently. From Campeonato Brasileiro Serie A. I am going to butcher every one of those. I promise you that going forward.
Not too bad.
That is, hey, appreciate that. Hey, so it's the top league in Brazil. We believe it's for about $500,000. He's going to be a central midfielder, and he's actually really versatile. During his time at Santos, he played cam, central defensive mid, and he also had a couple games at left back, which that one kind of threw me for a loop. In 207 games at Santos, he had 10 goals and 20 assists in about 11,000 minutes of play. Again, he's going to be that exciting central midfielder that we need. Definitely was one of our weakest spots from last year.
I think the partnership between Jean Mota and Gregory is going to be something that will only get better as this season goes on. And I agree with you, much needed addition. Moving forward to Mr. Christopher McVeigh, 24 years young. I love the injection of youth by Chris Henderson. It is beautiful. He is Swedish and American. Look at that. Transferred from IF Elfsborg in the Allsvenskan, which is a Swedish league, for, we assume, $500,000, somewhere around that. It's very tough to get actual numbers. MLS is very closed door with all that. They're closed door about way too much, in my humble opinion. Plays as right back, can also run, center back or right mid if needed. Stats with Elfsborg, 41 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, almost 2,800 minutes of play.
All right, up next, we got Ariel Lassiter, 27-year-old Costa Rican American, transferred from Houston for about $100,000. Left winger, also plays center forward and right winger. And in 35 games, he had about 3 goals and 1 assist. I believe Ariel's going to be one of those ones that will be a good injection off the bench. He's going to add that pace that we're going to need late in games that we really needed last year to help put some games to better help get back into the game to take some points away. So what are your thoughts on that?
I am very high on Ariel Lassiter. He has speed to kill. It's going to take, we said it before, it's going to take some time to really acclimate to the team and get comfortable in your role. But in the brief glimpse we got of him, that speed is unreal. It would not surprise me if he starts more games than I think we initially expect, but a great addition. I like the wingers we're bringing in, a lot of energy. We could rotate them depending on their levels of fitness or injury or stuff like that, but really, really happy with this acquisition right here. And that moves us forward to the man that, I'll tell you what, as far as acquisitions go, what's a better feeling than seeing the fans of the team that you're pulling a player from get all pissy and a little hurt over it? It's great because, big red flag is when you make an acquisition and the fans are like, oh, great, you can have him, like, good riddance. But no, we're talking about Bryce Duke. He's only 20 years old. He is an American, and we're getting him from LAFC for around $100,000. He's a central midfielder. He also played cam and center forward when needed. No real MLS stats to report, but the 35, 25, whatever, 32, 52, whatever the damn fan base and LAFC is, very high up on this kid. This was someone they were trying to develop. So if we can continue that process, we could really see, the fruits of that labor, so to speak, of maybe not this season, but, in the near-term future, hopefully we get him where he needs to be. A lot of potential, which is what we're going to have with a lot of these new acquisitions.
I agree with you on that, and I think he's going to fit in well with the kids coming up from Fort Lauderdale. George Acosta and Bryce Duke could be a solid midfield pairing for a few years if they can learn from the midfielders we have. It could lead to a lot of, again, like Ariel, a lot of successful late game substitutions that make or break our season, which, again, don't want to keep harping on, but we needed a lot of these players last year, which adds to the excitement. Up next is one that I know the Discord is personally happy over. This one riled a few feathers up, and we may have gone to town on Twitter. I may have irritated some folks on Twitter, but Mr. DeAndre Yedlin, who wasn't coming to the club, by the way. He's 28 years old.
Just leave it. Just let it die out. Just let it die out.
I'm letting it die out, but I had to get it one more time. Right. Transferred from Galatasaray, the Super League in Turkey, for free. He used right back, also played right mid. And in 36 games, he only had a goal and an assist. But the important thing to take away from this was that he has Champions League, Europa League, and U.S. men's national team experience. That is, I don't care about the games he played. I mean, it's great and all. He played for Galatasaray and Newcastle and whoever, but the Champions League and the Europa League experience is crucial for this young team.
I do agree. Stud, still 28 years old. The best part, like we discussed his history last episode, making his name really in the 2014 World Cup when he locked down Eden Hazard, old Chelsea legend there. But he's, again, 28. He still has plenty of years to play. It was a 4-year deal with a 5th-year contract option. What I really like about this is he has a massive desire to become prominent on the U.S. men's national team again. So he's going to be giving tons of effort so he can get back onto that stage, and we're only going to reap the benefits from that. And you already said it. He's got the EPL experience, played at Tottenham, went on loan at Sunderland, and then Newcastle, then Galatasaray, the likes of old legend Kazim. Google that. If you don't know what that is, watch some highlights. You're going to love it. Can't tell you how, I can't fully get it out in a full sentence how excited I am. I think this will be a massive addition to the club. I think you're going to start seeing a lot of Yedlin jerseys out there in the first few weeks of the season. Next on our list, Mr. Damian Lowe, 28 years old from Jamaica. Love me some Jamaica. Shout out all our listeners from Jamaica. Transferred from the El Ittihad Alexandria for free. He is a right back, also can play center back if needed. Stats as far as, with El Ittihad is 32 games, 2 goals in almost 20 800 minutes. He does have Jamaican men's national team experience. He did get a red card in Jamaica's last game. You know, you're going to fit in here and Inter Miami just great on the back line because we're all about yellows and reds. Come on, let's get that number one spot again and let's keep it moving.
Yeah, no joke. I was actually perusing Twitter during that game, and it popped up, said, "Oh, topics for Inter Miami fans, things you might enjoy, things you might want to see." And it was Damian Lowe gets red card. I said, "Attaboy, sign him up. Let's get him."
That's our man.
Yeah. I mean, I can't honestly sit here and tell you I know too much about him. I haven't sat and watched a lot of his tapes, but honestly, with a lot of these folks come in, I've been trying to not watch them so I do not get some sort of high expectations and then get my soul crushed for the fourth season.
So that's what we're kind of doing with this, right? We're trying to remove as much speculation as we've given players in the past because it is so hard to tell off a highlight reel that's, 3, 4, 5 minutes when you don't really see any of the mistakes made. But welcome to the squad. We got to welcome our Jamaicans properly around here.
It's back. The soundboard is back. All right. So up next is probably the player I'm most excited about. Shout out to the 315. Give it up for the Syracuse area code. He is a Syracuse Orange alum. It is Mo Adams, 25-year-old English Eritrean. And come to find out, Eritrea is actually a country in Africa. Didn't know that. There's your geography lesson for the day.
Tell them where it is, because I was confused. I was like, wait, what does that even mean? And then, of course, it's explained.
Okay. All right. My bad. All right,
Give them a geography lesson.
Okay. God, give me a second. It's bordered by Ethiopia, Sudan, Djibouti, and the Red Sea. It's actually a very, very tiny country. So, I mean, they don't really have a footballing history, and there's not too much to tell other than that.
Beautiful country.
Does that satisfy?
Beautiful country.
Does that satisfy you?
Go and visit Eritrea when you get a chance.
That's our new sponsor, actually, the country of Eritrea.
Visit Eritrea.
Go places.
There we go.
But he transferred in from Max Ramos Atlanta United for free. He is the central midfielder who also plays CDM. In 28 games, he had 1 goal, 1 assist in 844 minutes. Big thing to take away from Mo is he was pretty impactful off the bench, especially in the CDM role. He didn't get a lot of chances to get up into the attack, but he was able to lock down the midfield in pivotal moments for that Atlanta team. So Josef Martinez could go up and do his thing, and the attack could focus on what they needed to do. And so Alex's favorite goalie didn't have much to do from Atlanta. So, what do you got for that?
He loves him some Brad Guzan.
Guzan is not my favorite.
He's probably like bottom 3 for Alex. And there's reasons behind that. We're not going to get into it on the show. But, hey, look, we did have an MLS Super Draft that we have basically yet to discuss. We did have 4 picks, and we have 4 new potential ballers. We don't know. Do we have the next Daryl DK? Do we? Who knows? Let's find out. We'll start with Ryan Saylor. He was the first pick of the draft for us, and he was 24 years old. A little old coming out of college, I will say. He must have been a triple masters or something, or just stayed on that frat lap like we did. Drafted from the University of Washington. He plays a center back. Had some decent stats at Washington. 22 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. That's what we want from defenders. If you can get up there and score, if you can pull some Ian Frey magic, the fans are going to adore you. Honors at Washington included in 2021 the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. He was a first-team All-American, just like Alex Papageorge. He was all Pac-12 first team. He was a 3-time top drawer soccer national team of the week, or on the national team of the week, rather, and a 2 times college soccer news national team of the week player. Does have some tournament experience from the NCAA college soccer tournament. So, without too much speculation, the highlight reel did look good. And he looks like he does have some serious potential. And again, keep in mind, we're trying to build out really kind of from the back now while supplementing some wingers in there.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, I did look up a tiny bit of him because the hype was so real about Ryan Saylor, and his turning experience includes a game-winning goal where he definitely has some springs for legs. He got up. So between him, Mabika, whoever we're going to put in there, we're going to have some goal-scoring threats from our set pieces and all that. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But moving forward, we have Justin Ingram. He's a 23-year-old American drafted from Loyola. He is a center attacking mid, and his stats while at Loyola in 2021, he had 19 games played with 7 goals, 10 assists. You like to see that. You have a good contribution from both ends. You got a good mix of goals and assists out there. He actually does have D1 experience with Virginia as well before he transferred in. I believe it was either after injury or he just lost out his spot and wanted to go somewhere to play for his final 2 years. But he was 2-time Patriot League midfielder of the year in the spring 2021 season and the regular 2021 season. Remember, there was 2 seasons because of COVID and whatnot, so they had 2 different seasons going on. They had 2-time United Soccer Coaches first team All-Atlantic region, 2-time All-Patriot League first team, All-Patriot League second team in 2019, 2-time preseason All-Patriot League team, 5-time Patriot League midfielder of the week, 2-time Patriot League all-tournament team, and he has USA U19 experience. I like the draft pick. My concern is with the amount of young midfielders we have, is he going to get lost in the shuffle, or is he going to use his grit and determination from his time at Virginia to where he got to Loyola to now to rise above and be the cream of the crop?
There we go. And keep in mind, there's a fair chance some of these players are going down to Fort Lauderdale CF to get some experience as well. So these are all possibilities, but like everyone's got a fighting chance, right? Everyone's fairly young on this team now, so anyone can make a name for themselves, and that's the competition that Phil Neville wants to see. Next acquisition in the Super Draft was Mr. Lucas Meek, 22 years old, also an American, drafted also from the University of Washington. What's their mascot? I can't even remember. Are they the Cougars?
They're the Huskies.
The Huskies.
Washington State is the Cougars.
There we go. I confuse my Washingtons. There's just, so many of them. Central midfielder, stats over at Washington in 2021 season was 12 goals. 12 games, 4 goals, 5 assists. Not a bad stat line. Another player coming in with some serious honors as well. Just in the 2021 season, all region second team, all Pac-12 second team, Scholar All-American second team, Scholar All-Region, Pac-12 academic honor roll. He's a smart cat. Top drawer soccer team of the week and college soccer news team of the week player. He does also have the NCAA tournament experience, just like his homie Ryan Saylor.
I mean, the big thing to take away from this draft pick is if we can develop both him and Ryan, they already have the on-field chemistry together. It's going to make for exciting football to watch between those two, to maybe where we don't have to play Lob City FC from the back line to the front, and we can actually work our way through the midfield with precision, concise passing. That would be a welcome change. I don't know. I would love to see it personally. I would love to see it if we're able to get that up and running.
If you can, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It's going to be interesting to see for sure. Now the next one, I'm gonna let you run with it, but I'm very, very high up on this guy. I'm not sure that he will get a ton of playing time yet, but if he does, then we already know who's going to be our set piece specialist. This man has the boot.
Well, I'm high on this guy because it's another upstate New York boy, Tyler Bagley. He's 22-year-old American drafted from the University of Andy Bernard. Go Big Red, go Cornell, baby. He had 16 games played for Cornell in 2021 with 14 goals, 7 assists, led to 2 honors and the Ivy League Player of the Week. He was the United Soccer Coaches Player of the Week, Top Drawer Soccer Player of the Week, and 2-time Top Drawer Soccer Team of the Week. I have, again, not watched any tape on him. I have heard that he has a huge leg when it comes to set pieces, which is something that we will definitely need going forward. Because, everybody knows who watched any of our games. Set pieces were horrific.
Yeah.
They were scary. They were below U6 level set pieces, and we rarely do set pieces at U6. So I mean, why don't you tell us why you're hyped up? What got you hyped up?
It's the free kicks. This man can straight drill free kicks and score off them. Like that was again, I don't want to get too much into the highlight reels, but we was watching the draft, so they are going to show some highlight clips. And from outside the box, the man can curl them in. It's really impressive to see, and that's something that you're right, we lack. It's embarrassing. There's no other word for it. I think it was almost like 3/4 through the season before we were able to score on a set piece. It's been absolutely atrocious, and that's all over the field. That's whether you're actually having a go and trying to score from a set piece. That's if you're a little deeper and trying to just get a nice little in-swinger, out-swinger into the box. We're missing those. We're not even accurate on our corners, so someone needs to really step up in the reins and take those this season so we can at least be potent on set pieces. Because if you notice, the best teams in the MLS have success on set pieces. It's a subtlety that needs to be there. But that wraps up the Super Draft. Now, we did get a free signing. I was pretty hyped about this because I've watched a bit of this player, and I've liked what I saw over the previous 2 seasons, but he came off of his contract, and we're talking about Clement Diop. He is a 28-year-old Senegalese French goalkeeper, previously played at Club de Foot. And look, I know you got your beef with Calendar. Marsman is injured. We expect him to be back for the home opener, but if he's not, then I fully expect that Diop is sliding in there as the starting keeper. Won the Canadian Championship with Club de Foot, MLS and Senegalese men's national team experience. I think this is a great addition to give us some depth on the keeper level. I think this is a big step up from Big John McCarthy. RIP, great guy, but we needed a little bit more talent, and I think we're getting it right here with Diop.
I can't say I was excited for the Diop signing. I mean, I didn't know of him. I did a little digging into his past teams, and I saw how he left the club a few different times, not on bad terms. He just played poorly. He didn't pull an Antonio Brown and throw his shirt up in the air, throw his gloves into the stands, say deuces, I'm out. But he let up some pretty horrific goals that led to him being pulled maybe sometimes halfway through a game. I mean, honestly, Nick Marsman, please come back, get better real soon. Again, nothing against the kid. I don't want to see Drake on the first team field. So if we have to go with Clement, I'll give him a chance. I personally don't rate him like you do.
Oh, I'm comparing him to what we have with John McCarthy, and I think he's more talented than John McCarthy. So some bad stuff has to happen for you to go out of contract or not sign a new contract. I've seen, I didn't watch every single game, so I'm sure there were mistakes that you could rightfully be critical over, but he's a big guy. And from what I've seen, I saw him make some decent saves. I don't think he's going to ever be the starter over Marsman, but we need some sort of backup that can stop goals. And seeing the highlights from the preseason game with Club de Foot, Calendar is not going to be that guy right now until I don't know. I don't know if that's something you can develop or if that was just a rough game he had. But we'll take the additional depth on the back line.
I mean, you can't go chasing a guy outside of your box and let him dribble around you. I mean, I know we're not going to get into the highlights. We already talked about it. But, I mean, that had me fired up. I'm watching. I'm like, why are you chasing this guy? You're not Manuel Neuer. You are not the sweeper keeper. You are not getting this guy. And, I mean, I don't know. I mean, hopefully Komet does well. I'll give him a chance. But, I mean, he's our only hope.
Some of life's biggest lessons are learned the hardest way. So maybe Drake learns from it, corrects it, and comes out here and wows us all. We will see. But in addition to that, we did have some call-ups from Fort Lauderdale CF in USL League 2, now MLS Next. And we're starting with our boy. This is kind of like, it's a call-up, a full-time call-up. We did have to call him up a couple times last season due to the hardship clause and really running out of bodies to even put on the field. But we're talking about our boy, Ame Mabika, the legend from, this is painful. God, the legend from the University of Kentucky. I said it. Happy to have him on here. He's an absolute monster. We were laughing because the height, we've gained height on our back line compared to last season. It was like, 5'11" was the average height. And now we're like 6'3". But even even with all that height, he still towers over everybody, and he's mobile, and he's so much potential. So Ame Mabika, welcome here, what I hope to be full-time. We saw how this went last year with the call-ups that really just they sent him back down to Fort Lauderdale CF. But I'll take this all day. Run us through the next one. I know you're his biggest fan.
I am beyond excited that we have called up George Acosta. I was extremely nervous when I saw that he didn't get a contract, where they were kind of letting him out the pasture for a little bit to see what was going on. But George is going to add some very welcome depth to our midfield again. I didn't miss a single Fort Lauderdale match this past year, and every time we see to be in a big build up or a great run of form as a team, George was out there pulling the strings. It's going to be awesome. He is the reason why I have hope for the future when it comes to our midfield. I know it's a lot of weight to put on somebody's shoulders, but there's times, and I know he's still developing, but there's times that he plays above his years. He can find that pass through a crowded group. He can see the play almost two steps ahead. I really, really hope that he is able to pull through like I think he can, based off of what I saw last year.
You're so high up on him, it makes me excited. And I hope it's all just as you say. Well, we welcome them, and we got to get these younger guys some experience. I would like to see some rotation as we find out really who are the starters, who's gelling best, who's got the best chemistry with who. But we need to start giving our young guys a shot. And that brings us to our next player. He's none other than the coach's son himself. We're talking about Harvey Neville, the most accurate, not accurate crosser that scores goals on the team. Welcome. Happy to see what you can do this season. If you're, 3/4 what your father was, you'll be an amazing part of this team. Looking forward to it. And then we'll wrap up these call-ups with the other one that you're extremely high up on, and for good reason. And he is out here putting in the work and showing people why Van Harrington has been so high on this man.
So last year, if you guys were listening, I said Ian Frey was going to come into this team and he was going to provide a spark in that back line. And then his knee decided to prove me wrong. So after he had a rehabilitation of, I believe it was his ACL. I don't know if you remember off the top of your head. I believe it was ACL injury. Yep. Ian is back. He looks better than ever. He's agile and he's scoring.
He is scoring.
I can't believe he's scoring. Just gives us one more dangerous option. He plays with level head. He plays smart. He's not going to get those ticky-tack yellow fouls. He'd rather outplay his opponent through his own mental game and abilities rather than just running through somebody. Not saying that he won't, but I think as he develops, gets into his frame, builds up muscle, he's going to be a force in the back line. Again, all assuming he develops the way we think he will.
His goals have been impressive so far, especially the one against LaU. I mean, the footwork coming from a defender was very, very impressive. And last one, kind of another one call up again is Felipe Valencia. Welcome back. Hopefully we keep you up here and don't send you back to Fort Lauderdale. This is going to be good. I mean, I think Valencia and Azcona could be two of the more talented, more attacking-minded players that are going to be our homegrown players coming up from the academy or Fort Lauderdale CF. So big things. Let's keep them on the first team if we can. Let's get them the experience if we can.
The big thing for Felipe is he's got to stay healthy. I found out that's why he was down last year, where we were kind of wondering where he all went. He got hit with that major injury bug and was never able to bounce back for the first team when he could have got valuable minutes. So here's to the future. Here's to our first big homegrown contract next to Azcona. So hopefully he brings the heat this year.
Yep. And well, here's good news. We signed coach's favorite player, which is Victor Ulloa. Re-signed him rather. I think it was maybe not on the team for a handful of days before his re-signed. And then the other quick one, just to wrap this up, is Jairo Quinteros is back with the team after being off on loan with Club Bolivar. A lot of people are very high on him. He is athletically gifted. He's back here. It's going to be impressive to have what could be a pretty potential weapon in defense for us. And, that wraps up really all the new acquisitions. We left out Alex here just to kind of speed through this. We're going to bring Alex back in here. get off your phone. How many NFTs have you bought since we've been doing this?
29.
29. There we go.
He's actually drooling from the concussion over there.
That's what it is.
He just knocked him. He's
over here trying to read Dr. Seuss.
Da.
Man, that's
you're not my
boy.
son.
Yeah, I don't know
my son.
this, man. You're looking at me, but there's nothing behind those eyes. Alex, go ahead and bring us to our fan questions so we can wrap up with a little bit of fun. Okay. Yeah, he's log off the open sea, get back into it. Let me know. Are you ready?
All right, we're back.
Are you ready, big guy?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, cool. All right, fan questions. First time fan questions. Boy, here we are.
I think you hit it on the head there. He is definitely concussed.
All right, fan question number 1 is, which of all the new players just mentioned on the team are you most excited about? Fan,
George
what about
Acosta.
you?
George Acosta. It's got to be George. If it's not somebody who's been in our, with Fort Lauderdale, I would have to say Mo Adams, just because I have that connection with him being from Syracuse and him playing up the road here in Reading, PA. But yeah, Mo Adams has to be mine.
I'm gonna have to go with Lassiter. I'm willing to die on this hill. From what I saw, that speed could be so deadly, and I know that a lot of people are kind of trying to put together how that midfield or attack is going to look, and that he might be coming off the bench. But keep an eye on him. He's someone also super swaggy. He's another one that's going to crush South Beach. But I'm really excited to see him. I know that's against the previous hype I've brought with some of the new signings, but I'm going to stick with him.
Solid. Next question. Of the current squad, who would you like to spend time with at a bar?
This has to be unanimous. Who you got, Than?
I want to hear who you got, because I don't want to be out of the loop on this.
It's obviously the dive bar king. It's Breck Shea himself. Like, come on. I'll rock around Bimini Bar with that more. There we go. Yeah, Than's rocking the no step on Sneck Breck shirt. And I mean, if it's anyone else, like, you probably don't really like to drink that much. Well, he could not even drink.
What do you think Breck Shea drinks? Like, what's his drink of choice?
Jenny Light.
Yeah, Ginny Light. I don't even know if they have Ginny Lights down here. Probably like a Bush Latte with like a sidecar of like, I don't know, whiskey.
It's going to be that new Mountain Dew hard seltzer they're bringing out. Baja Blast.
Yes. It's just shotgunning Baja Blast. Alcohol. Yes. Okay. Very good. Very good. Who would yours be, bud? Do I need to repeat the question?
Maybe. I don't know. Who would I? That's tough. I wasn't thinking I was going to answer these. Sure. How about Breck Shea? Why not? Breck Shea seems like he'd probably be a pretty good guy.
Unanimous. All right. Keep it moving, bud.
How many more Brazilians does the team need in order to satisfy Jay? I think that's infinite.
When we have one more Brazilian.
When Inter Miami turns into Brazil, then we'll be good.
When we have one more Brazilian on our roster than the Brazilian national team, I will be satisfied.
And then Chris Henderson gets Brazilian nationality and citizenship. And then Jay's like, I'm good.
Yes. Bring them all on.
All right. And the last question of this week's fan questions, and be sure to add them on the Discord. That is where you're going to do that. If your favorite team didn't exist, which is Inter Miami, hopefully, which MLS club would you support?
I'm going to flip it on you first.
I would say LAFC.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so from Southern California, pretty good club. I would say LAFC.
Fan?
That's gross. I don't want to talk to you after this. I would have to say DC United because Rooney was here. That was the closest team for me to be able to see, and nicer park, cheap tickets, better than Philly Union. So definitely have to go DC.
Fair. I'm going Orlando City.
Get out.
No, man, I'm going to be a member of the Portland Timbers Army, and I'm going to saw that damn log off. Probably cut my foot off with that chainsaw.
You would whack off a limb.
I would
100% in season 1. There'd be no question.
I know. I like their passion. I like the environment. I think the stadium's gorgeous. I would probably have to rock with Portland. But these are hypothetical questions. We're sticking with Inter Miami till we die. I've already got it tattooed on my right butt cheek.
Well, and they're gonna have a better pink kit than we are when it's all said and done, because that one they're getting looks fire.
Yeah, the rose. That's gonna be embarrassing. That really is gonna be embarrassing when they come out with a much hotter pink kit.
And then even DC United's getting that cherry blossom kit next season. That's gonna look even better than what we got too. I hate to say it, but sorry. It's
gonna be brutal out here, but it's all right, man. We're gonna take it in stride. If you're upset about the jersey, bro, just wait in a couple more days. That heat is dropping. That Inter Miami podcast jersey, baby. Putting a lot of work into it. I think you guys are gonna love it. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the Inter Miami podcast. I'm Jay Kington alongside Alex Papa George and Dan Harrington. Check us out on social media if you don't already. We're on Twitter at InterMIA Podcast, on Instagram at InterMiami Podcast. Don't forget to send us a message. Ask for that Discord channel as we end every single episode. Vamos, Miami.
Vamos, Miami.
Vamos, Miami.